Early this year, we did a standalone review of the ROG Flow X13 laptop. And then we stated at the end of the review that we'll be making yet another separate review of the laptop plus the XG Mobile, which is the external GPU made specifically for this laptop. And then it went into hiatus for like 6 months or so. And there is a reason for that, because ROG did issue a recall for the XG Mobile because it was having quote unquote connection issues. So yeah, now we finally have it. So let's take it for a review. So in this video, we're only going to talk about the XG Mobile itself, and let's start off by talking a little bit about its specs. This XG Mobile is available in two different variants. This is the RTX 3080 Laptop GPU Edition, and it weighs in as what ROG claims at only 1 kilogram. And this XG Mobile connects to the Flow X13 via a proprietary cable, which consists of a USB Type-C port plus another proprietary connection side by side. Quick complaint here, ROG, if you're watching this, please ditch that rubber plug altogether, because it only reminds me of the frustration that I have with the ROG phone series of smartphones with that rubber plug, which in the end serves no purpose, and I would just rather leave it in the box and never use it. And that is especially true with the Flow X13, because that rubber plug will cover up a perfectly usable standalone USB Type-C port, a high-speed one at that. Just ditch that rubber plug entirely, or just redesign this rubber plug, because currently it's just Okay, the XG Mobile also has a 280 watt power supply inside. That is because it will need 150 watts for the RTX 3080 GPU, and then another like 100 watts to charge the laptop with. Remember, this thing also charges the laptop via that one single cable. And then we also have a lot of ports at this side of the XG Mobile. So I would presume the extra 30 watts is for the USB ports and also for some leeway in terms of power fluctuations. So to get an idea of how the XG Mobile will work in a day-to-day situation, I hooked it up to my ultrawide monitor at the back here and ditched my PC, my main desktop PC, for like a day or two to see what's up. We're not going to focus much on performance of the XG Mobile because it is indeed using an NVIDIA RTX 3080 laptop GPU running at about 150 watts maximum. We have confirmed this for ourselves too. And I would have to say the RTX 3080 laptop at 150 watts is quite powerful. I mean, in terms of gaming, there's not really an issue here. The XG Mobile is powerful enough that we can actually play Control at 60 FPS at 3440 by 1440 pixels in resolution. Remember, I'm using an ultrawide monitor, and that is also with everything maxed out with DLSS turned off. And in terms of temperature, the RTX 3080 laptop GPU in the XG Mobile reaches at about 85 degrees Celsius, while the laptop CPU can reach at about 90 degrees or so with the clamshell closed. The reason I did that is because I think a lot of people will just plug in the XG Mobile to the Flow X13 and then chuck the laptop somewhere and use an external monitor, an external mouse, and also an external keyboard. But performance aside, I think there are just a lot of intricacies that you need to know if you're gonna use this setup. So what I've prepared here is a list of maybe will be commonly asked questions. So let us just rapid fire through all of them. Number 1, how do you use the XG Mobile? The XG Mobile connects to the Flow X13 via the proprietary cable. Once you plug it in, remember to push the lock to lock the cable in, and then Windows 10 will show you a menu asking you that, hey, do you want to switch to the XG Mobile? Just confirm that message and then the process will happen. It takes less than a minute to change to the XG Mobile, so yeah, it's pretty fast. Number 2, how do you unplug the XG Mobile? Well, it's technically the reverse of how you plug it in, but with a few variation. You need to click the icon in the taskbar and then a message will come out. Just confirm that message and then wait for less than a minute or so for it to disconnect. and then you can disconnect the XG Mobile entirely. Number 3, how do you know it's safe to plug or unplug the XG Mobile? Well, the proprietary connector of the XG Mobile actually has an LED built in, so if it shows white color means it is safe to unplug, and if it's showing red color, please do not unplug. Number 4, what happens if I unplug the XG Mobile when the LED is showing red color? Well, I tested this once and for all I can tell you, it's not a really fun experience because while Windows still works for like a minute or so, when I start to open some apps, then it just crashed. Yeah, don't do that. Number 5, if the Flow X13 is using the XG Mobile, then what happens if I shut down the laptop and then unplug the XG Mobile? Well, what happens is that it'll show you this message before Windows starts. Yeah, this is an extra step that you need to take if you do this. Number 6, what happens if I plug in the XG Mobile and then only I turn on the laptop? Well, nothing happens. You still need to go through that confirmation message to change to XG Mobile when Windows start up. So yeah, there's no easy way to directly boot up Windows and directly use the XG Mobile. So that's something that you need to take note. Number 7, what happens if I plug in the XG Mobile to the Flow X13 but I don't switch to the XG Mobile? Well, in this case, the USB ports, the card reader and also the Ethernet port will all work. It's just that the display will not be output to the external monitor. For that, you will need to change to XG Mobile and then only your external monitors will light up. So, after knowing all of these intricacies about the XG Mobile plus Flow X13 combo, what do I feel? I like the idea, but the overall hassle that comes with this setup is not something that I like. The laptop in itself is pretty powerful and we can plug in a single cable to the laptop to transform it into a desktop setup. That is the one idea that I really like. But needing to click to enable or disable XG Mobile every single time is a major annoyance. And while we are at that, each time you want to switch to or away from XG Mobile means that you need to turn off or just exit all of the apps that are using your GPU, which to me essentially means a restart, just that it's not quite a restart, if that makes sense. Also, 2 more quick things to mention. The XG Mobile has a really bright red LED for the fan. If the XG Mobile is positioned somewhere in your peripheral vision, then you will definitely be blinded by that red LED. Luckily, you can disable this LED in the Armoury Crate software. You really can't make this up. And the last issue that I have here is the fan noise of the ROG Flow X13. For some reason, this fan can get really loud, really whiny, and it just spews heat out the back like a hairdryer. The fan also ramps up suddenly when I'm opening Google Chrome watching a YouTube video, so I don't know what's up with that. Once it ramps up, it's gonna be really loud and, well, you will definitely notice that noise. And after all of these complaints, I have still not touched on the exclusivity of the XG Mobile as of now. Because right here in Malaysia, if you wanna buy the XG Mobile, well, you need to spend a total of 13,499 ringgit to get the bundle, because the XG Mobile is not sold separately. And the reason why you need to pay that high of a price is because ROG Malaysia, for some reason, they're gonna bundle the Flow X13, the highest end variant of this laptop, with the XG Mobile, hence bumping up the price like nobody's business. I mean, it doesn't really make sense because who wants to use a laptop, a 13-inch laptop, with a 4K touchscreen, while the XG Mobile has an external display output so that you can connect it to, well, let's just say a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor that I have at the back here. That would be a much better gaming experience than to just play games on a laptop, right? I mean, seriously, ROG Malaysia, it's better to just bundle the XG Mobile with the 1080p variant of the Flow X13. Or maybe just sell the XG Mobile separately, don't bundle it, that would be great. So in conclusion, the ROG Flow X13 plus the XG Mobile is a very nice idea, but the realization of that idea is where I'm having issues with. The amount of intricacies once it stacks up on top of each other, wow, it starts to really make a big impact in terms of user experience. However, I do understand that this is the first generation of this product right here, and well, I really want to see how ROG is gonna improve this idea in the next generation. So yeah, that's it. That's all we have to share with you about the XG Mobile plus ROG Flow X13. Yeah, I got that name right. So if you have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next video.